Engineers today, as the system gets more and more complex, they don't just fight incidents. They are fighting a storm of low context alerts, disconnected data, and very and a lot of constant interruptions. Imagine getting 1,000 alerts, you've got to pick the most critical one and start addressing it. But now, with so many microservices, we are getting so fancy with our services, it's a lot of alerts. And we are not having a very good context on certain alerts. So that's what we are trying to solve. But during an incident, what do we actually do? The biggest question, where do I even start? When something is down, it's easy. I kind of like have my matrix, I go to top-down approach. But when something is slow, when something is degraded, we have this one big question. Where do I even start? The real cost of like scouring and scavenging to where do I even start, it's not just the downtime or it's not just the money that is spent. It's a lot of engineering effort that we put down during the time. And we all have promised SLAs to our customers. And the more times it occurs, it's a real cost to the business. So we started thinking, how do we solve? So before getting into this, I'm Thiyagarajan Anandan. People know me as Theo because of my complex first name. So I'm a senior engineering manager, managing platform engineering for UberFreight, as it says. And we run a massive logistics platform connecting shippers and carriers. And we also have the same operational chaos and problems like every other company. So we started thinking, how do we solve this? So the goal is to reduce the cognitive load. So what's running in my brain during the first 5 minutes? What's running in my brain when I'm trying to like resolve an incident, when I'm trying to address this issue? So we started thinking a little bit different. So we want to shift the priority, or we want to shift the way that we are thinking towards observability. So imagine having 17 different tools to log in and 5 different terminals. We all have the fancy 3-monitor setups, but it's getting complex at some time. So we moved into more of like consolidation. We want everything into a singular tool. People might think cost, but it's nothing compared to the amount of time that you spend, the amount of time that you get to train and adopt on each and every single tool. So bringing everything into Datadog really helped. So we kind of like consolidated everything under a unified platform, as our favorite code is a single pane of glass observability. So that's where we went into. Without that, every single incident, no incident starts with good, but it's soon going to be bad and ugly. It's a very time-consuming process. So to do that, we started building a connecting tissue. Like we want to like put everything into a singular system. Yes, it's not just about like I have my real user monitoring here, I have my API monitoring here, my database team wants a very specialized tool that they want to do this. But having everything in one place solves a much bigger problem of finding overall patterns. Now I have all the data inside Datadog. Yes, I did the right thing. But what's next? Having all the data is really unlocking the potential of Datadog? I don't think so. Tagging is a bigger problem in Datadog. If everybody have used in it, and the problem is not just cannot be solved by Datadog, it's our equal responsibility to do the tagging. We have all the tools. But I always felt the more tagging you do, the better we get out of it. Even before all this AI era, if you have the right tagging, you can easily create dashboards, you can easily create a lot of things. Your search is getting easier. So we started doing a very disciplined way of tagging. We put some effort in like making a standardized tagging. That helped us to give more context to the AI. The more context it has, the better result I'm going to get. I can have all the fancy bits installed and like started chatting about it, spending a lot of tokens, but am I getting the right information? But tagging solves the problem. Having a unified tagging builds that connecting tissue. And that's kind of like enables you to have the real power of the unified telemetry schema. So we build all this tagging, and what are we doing to go next? With this solid foundation, we get a head start on incidents. But we are really able to invest in the next generation tools to do something even better autonomously. So we found that the most critical part of the incident is the first 5 minutes, right? We're talking about it at like 5 a.m. or like 3 a.m. We all have this on-call setup. We woke up and like we kind of like, hey, join the call. Yes, I joined the call, but what's next? Like I have some sort of information, but we get more and more clarity. Every incident, every leader, every engineer, every business gets spooked of one thing: lack of control. We don't feel control during the incident. To feel control during the incident, we need more context. We need more context. We did this. I'm going to keep repeating this, like do more tagging, because you will see it as and when your data grows bigger and bigger, you're going to have this problem. But to win the first 5 minutes of the incident, you need clarity. And the clarity gives you control. And to immediately provide that clarity to the people who are just logging in and ability to understand the overall context, you need a well-structured way of like approaching the incident with this. So Bits AI really helped us. The moment we started having the conversation, we put the tagging, everything in place, we kind of get like an initial, we saw that fancy map of like, that's a reality, guys, it's happening. So we have this in place. The moment we have that in, we kind of like get like good, hey, this is your service, and this is where I find the latency. We all seen this correlation feature in Datadog. And like you kind of like get like a mental map of where to start, what are the workflows, and how do we approach the problem from there. So yes, I have the tagging, I have the right things. Now I have this fancy AI, but what's next? We took like a slight turn when approaching the incidents and overall observability by introducing Datadog to completely non-technical users, to business, to ops, to accounts, to sales, everybody. This has enabled a lot of more meaningful conversation from non-engineering teams to the engineering teams. Instead of getting information from your VP of sales, like, hey, your system is always unstable. Now you have a data to backup. Hello, boss, look at the dashboard. It's there. And your account team is reporting, I keep getting calls from customer, and they're telling it's slow, it's not working. Instead of that, imagine they are sending you a Datadog URL, like, hey, this is the particular graph, and this is exactly where it is. So we started having more meaningful conversations, saved engineering time. We also avoided a lot of void in the engineering time, like thinking, hey, my system looks good, but why not? So you're also upskilling people. Thankfully, Datadog is not user-based licensing. You can just like give it to 1,000 people, 5,000 people, how many ever people that you want. So that is easy. So we wanted to like up the game because of Bits AI. We started introducing Bits AI to our non-technical users. Our non-technical users, they could just go and log in. Hey, is my system ready? Like, what's my SLO on this particular service? Is there anything happening in production environment? We all have gotten this question. We're slowly turning the tables and giving this as like a gateway for our internal users to talk to us, to talk to Datadog. We don't even have to like build like a fancy list of dashboards or anything. As long as you do the right tagging, you have the right name, it can actually pick up the code and like gonna divert the users into the right phase. For technical users, it's much bigger advantage. That's where I'm really kind of excited about the Bits AI, the SRE style of agents. That's where we want to like slowly traject into. Like, what more that I can get in? Not all issues are surface level. There is going to be more complex and deeper issues that are going to keep popping in our systems. So I'm kind of excited about like what Tristan is going to share with us with the Bits AI SRE agent. And I just don't want the system to tell me this is the problem. I want the system to do something a little bit more. Can you solve the problem? Can you solve the problem? We all have the fancy runbooks. Now I give you all the runbooks. What are you going to do with the runbooks? Is there anything that you can do a bit more than just do this? So you all have this REST to resolution. I really suggest you to like go try it out and feel the pain of ours. So just a recap. One of the biggest job of any SRE or other engineers is more of like turning chaos into order, tame the chaos. Build standards and fundamentals, most like tagging, 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 tagging. You're going to keep hearing that. But anytime you catch me outside, we're going to talk about tagging much more detail. So standards and fundamentals and tagging is a continuous effort. It's a two-way street. We give more context to Datadog, we get more from the Datadog. And unify the context, the one we talked about. Empower all stakeholders. We might feel a bit wacky when we start, like, hey, are they seeing too much? Or the thing, you have role-based access control. Just like go tune your roles and open up access to more and more people and have more meaningful conversation, and that's going to be really helpful. It's a game changer. And investing in future. Sometimes we might feel tools are costlier, AI is costly. Do I really need to let go about it? But the value proportion is much more. Instead of looking at an unit cost, I always look at total cost of ownership. It really pays off. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.